We all know those memes that are taken out of context, like sodium chloride, or are you going to finish that croissant? Or I don't mind, but one time when I was 7 years old, I sat on a banana, and of course it changed my life. But no, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to be looking at memes today, but we are going to talk about the game that was associated with this show, Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twinkies.
The basic summary of the plot is Jimmy flies to a comet named Twonkies 3, gathers various minerals to bring back to his lab for experiments, only for his ship to have a stowaway alien from the comet, which then multiplies to take over the town. The Twinkies may look cute at first, but when you play music around them, they grow more furious and grow in size. And the only way to revert them back into small size is to make a loud noise that's displeasing to the ears. Thank Goddard for Sheen's terrible singing voice. If only he didn't get himself lost on another planet.
But how does this game hold up 16 years later? I don't know, I remember liking this as a kid, and I thought it was better than some of the other Jimmy Neutron games. But we are going to take a look at it here today and see if it's any good. I'll give it a grade rating, just so you can decide if the game is worth purchasing for yourself. Or, by all means, play it on an emulator, because that's what I'm going to be using, so that way I can play this game to capture gameplay footage. But I do have a physical copy, I have a complete unbox and everything. But I'm only using an emulator because I don't have any other way to record off of my PlayStation 2. And I have a PlayStation 2. I just don't have a way to record off of it at this moment. So without any further ado, let's get right into it.
Let me just say this right off the bat here. This title screen is a nice touch. And the remix of the theme song is killer. You have a nice overhead view of Retroville, Goddard displaying the menu, and he moves around after you make a selection.
It's little details like this that show you how much care they went into this game. A masterpiece.
Including the graphics themselves, the glass in the game has actual reflection and looks very close to the actual style of the show. It has a good mix of music playing in the background as well, so this already bodes well for this game. Except, there's just one minor problem. You can't skip the cutscenes.
Now, you might think, how is this a bad thing? Well, it really isn't a real issue, but it doesn't drive away from its real gameplay value perspective. But here's where the problem lies. Replay value. It makes it drag so much to the point that it's not worth speedrunning. And there's also the fact that there is dialogue that's unskippable too. And it will also stop you dead in your tracks before you can continue on with the game. And it actually adds time to your overall speed run. So if you're speedrunning this isn't very good for you. But if you just want to play it just to play it, it's not that big of an issue. But I really don't like how it forces the story onto you, because sometimes you might already know the story and maybe you just want to replay it for old time's sake. But because of the unskippable ads, you have to, just deal with it.
After watching a minute-long cutscene, we get a loading screen telling us the name of the level.
Jimmy Neutron in A Comet Cometh.
Is that the voice from the Jimmy Neutron shorts?
Jimmy Neutron, boy genius in...
It is! People who may not know it won't care, but people who do will give this game praise. Jeez, the amount of detail they put in this game is perfection.
Right after the loading screen, we get another cutscene, but it's only as long as about only 15 seconds, where Jimmy talks to himself about how he's going on a comet, which makes me question if he has schizophrenia. And then we get thrown into a tutorial level, where Jimmy's AI tells us how to play. She teaches us how to move the camera, jump, double jump, create inventions, and how to use Goddard. The fact that we control Goddard means that we can command him to join Alan and Seritune versions.
Why, dead, Goddard!
While I was playing this level, a nitpick I have with the controls are not ideal. Not take controls, and there isn't delay, it's just awkward in the sense that the camera movement is reversed to left and right, and there's no way to change it. So often when you want to turn the camera to the right, you move to the left instead. It's not a huge deal, it just needs some getting used to. After the tutorial, we go on to the next level, where we fly on Jimmy's ship and destroy asteroids, and dodge space equipment And we make a stop at the space satellite and make magnetic boots so we don't float into space. Then we run to this door and hop inside and solve the puzzle, which you'd think it could look hard, but the trick is just to press each color 3 times with it solved. Then we exit the room and move to the other end of the station, grab these things, then fly off for another flying section before landing on the comet and ending the level. On the comet, we make Goddard dig up our stash and return to the ship with a giant Twinkie attacking our ship, which throws us into a boss fight. I say fight lightly, because all you need to do is just run towards the ship. After we fly back home, we are straight back to school, where Jimmy tells his friends, Carl and Sheen, while they mope about not getting what they wanted. And then Jimmy says sorry and goes back to telling his story like he didn't care. And Carl finds
a mystery space creature
and wants to keep it as a pet. Then music turns on and it becomes Big Chungus. Then we get trapped while Carl and Sheen run to get help. Then we look at ourselves in the mirror. Okay, Jimmy has voices in his head. He's gone mad.
Okay. Let's just calm down, because it's just a kid's game. It doesn't need to follow any realistic things in any manner. Let's just keep going.
After she tells us we need an invention, we create Jimmy's shrink ray and shrink ourselves by shooting it into a mirror and climbing through the barricaded door, which is honestly kind of a clever move. When we escape the classroom, like we always dreamed of doing, Goddard comes to help us rob students from their lockers with an upgrade he gets. If you are confused on how it works, just find the locker with a rocket symbol and a question mark will appear above Goddard's head. Then you can activate it on Goddard, and Goddard will sniff around and allow you to press a button to open the locker. We go through the entire school, and we go home to make a device that'll capture small Twinkies, then save Sheen and find out his voice shrinks bigger Twonks, and we make an invention that has the same effect so we can catch them. And then we go on to the next boss fight.
And then, all of a sudden, the game gets interesting.
Boss fight is actually an electric boss, where he will shock you and take quite a bit of health from you. Also, he will spawn in multiple tornadoes and you have to dodge them. To beat this electric boss, you have to go to the seesaw and place an electrical dispenser on it and wait for the boss to shock it directly and it will drain a little bit of its health. But because it's on a seesaw, you can jump on the other end and launch it into the enemy and have him deal more damage. Also, if the boss shocks anything, you cannot touch whatever it shocks. You will take damage. Keep in mind, if you try to use the device on the seesaw while the boss is in the middle of the map and doing the big shock wave, it will not work. It will just bounce off and have no effect. Once we beat the boss, it explodes into oblivion.
You know what? Maybe there's a good reason people feel nostalgic for this game. It's actually not that bad of a game. It's actually okay. My only gripe is the camera controls and the unskippable cutscenes. Other than that, other than it being kind of too easy in the first few levels, it's not bad. I do recommend you pick this up. Though, of course, I'm not telling you to pick this up. This is only just a guide for you to make the purchase for yourself. But what grade would I give this? B-. That's what I would give this. Not bad. Not bad whatsoever. What's great about this game is it's dirt cheap, too. So if you want to pick up the copy, it's not that expensive at all. So if you want to pick this up, get it for yourself. But anyways, I'm done here. Let's take off our thinking caps. I got a blast.